everybody. I'm Delegate Ken Plum. Welcome to our show, Virginia Report. Tonight we're privileged to talk about the Spirit Open Equestrian Program, and we're delighted to have the founder of that program, Davorka Suvak, with us tonight. And I welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Tell us, if you would, to begin with, what is the Spirit Open Equestrian Program?
Spirit Open Equestrian Program is non-profit. It's an organization, group of people who dedicated their work and time and services to improve quality of life of kids and families with special needs. And it's dedicated to equine-assisted activities, which usually first association is let's go and ride, let's gallop in the sunset.
Right.
It's not all about that. It's a beautiful part of that. But here we're talking about new concept of horsemanship, where horses and interaction with horses can help to develop, improve basic life skills for youth in risk who need that experiential learning to build their own picture and find their position in the real world. Because a relationship with horses can teach about responsibility, self-control, teamwork, patience, teach about communications, improve social skills. That's a learning part, but more than learning, there is a therapy part, which means that different interaction with horses helps body, mind, and spirit of kids and people of all ages with special needs. And that's a long story, so that's what we're doing.
Well recognized now, I think, across the country, the value of the equestrian program. How did you personally get involved?
Wow, thank you for asking that. It's a very personal story and it's kind of spiritual story. It's a long story, so I will spare you from that in this moment.
You share only as you feel comfortable doing so.
I'm doing that. I was a regular kid who was in love with horses and having opportunity to grow with horses. I have first time experience about benefits of it. And then after that I was teaching, being a regular competitor and trainer and becoming mom and having war in Croatia. I came from Croatia 2005. And then they're meeting all kind of different families with kids with cerebral palsy, autism, Down syndrome. I got opportunity to use knowledge and skills. So when I was thinking, okay, now I'm mom, I'm done with horses and riding, and let's go somewhere else in my life, I kind of felt a call. That's a real important thing I can do, is to put together all of that. And so that's how it started in Croatia, and because I didn't have a contact at the first few years doing that with any other international organization. In Eastern Europe it was just beginning, so it was kind of building from the scratch, which is challenge, but also it's opportunity to learn things and see things different way. And later I came to United States to year 2000 to get my certification as therapeutic riding instructor and put all that kind of euphoria and emotions in a structure and controlled stream.
So the whole notion of the therapeutic use of horses and so on is in fact a study unto itself and professionally certified?
Yes. It's very young, almost movement about changing that approach toward horses and horsemanship. It's well known that horses kind of changed human history with their presence at certain period of history when they have been used in all areas in human life. And then they almost disappeared because we replaced them with engines and machines. So they survived only as a pretty expensive sport or status symbol. And then it's not, it's very relative what to say. United States basically started a concept of therapeutic riding some 50 years ago, but it went very slowly. And recently is internationally world spread idea about using interaction with horses to help personal growth with people learning life skills, and especially for kids and people with different areas of disabilities. What is different from a few years ago or 10 years ago, all about therapeutic riding was about physical disabilities. And recently we learned, and it has been proved through the studies, how much that activity can improve a condition and help fulfill potential of kids with mental or autism spectrum challenges.
So, looking at the broad picture for ordinary suburban kids, it helps with growth in character, self-esteem, and so on. But then children who are challenged by various, either now you're saying physical or mental conditions, gain as well.
The gain in that non-physical kind of special needs would be including emotional. So it's psychological, intellectual, and emotional. And we have so much and so many emotionally deprived kids, families in crisis. And growing itself is painful and challenging.
Right.
Especially, as you mentioned, in that suburban megapolis areas, where people, where kids are trying to define themselves. They find they have so many opportunities to find wrong role models and patterns to go with. I have to. I would like to talk about our specialty in Spirit Open Equestrian Program. Besides therapeutic riding, we have that equine-assisted learning with wonderful feedback, where we work with equine-assisted psychotherapists, creating special social environment for kids without disabilities. We use horses as motivational tools and activities around them, and involve kids in hard work, physically hard work. To show and to grow their dedication, to build their character and help them to become great people and citizens.
Now talk more about that in terms of who it is that qualifies. What age child would that be appropriate for?
Different programs has different requirements. So for therapeutic riding, usually we don't and we shouldn't take anybody below age of 3. Very rarely, some cases, some condition requires earlier intervention, but that means that we involve hippotherapists, which is physiotherapists educated to use horses to help condition in that early stage. But in general, 3 and above. There are so many contraindication conditions, we take care of it. So we closely work with medical professionals, informing them of what we're doing, which are concerns in terms of contraindication, and requesting feedback from them if they recognize benefits, to tell us which kind of goals they expect us to achieve in that program. That's about physical aspect of therapy. And in equine-assisted psychotherapy and equine-assisted learning, probably age of 11 would be lowest. And there is no upper limit. And just activities can and should be modified by certain individual case and goals and expectations.
Now, how do children get into your program? Is it something that parents recommend, or is it do they also come through the medical community and the education programs, or how do folks get to your program?
That's actually a great question, and it's hard for me to give you a straight answer. I know for our program here that basically people are coming through word of mouth, and that's our strongest advocacy, to having parents who witness changes and benefits of our program and work. And it's forever growing kind of area of potential clients, and that's almost scary. As far as I know, I think Fairfax County has only 3 programs with ours there. And there are waiting lists all over the place. And it's, but talking about medical part and professional part, I have to say it's still more pushing from equestrian side, okay, recognize what we're doing. Because I think medical system has enough own problems to take care of, to pay attention of some, for their standpoint, kind of minor. It still has been qualified as just holistic somewhere. But I have to share with you that in Croatia we achieved to have, and there are some other countries, to have Ministry of Health partially or totally cover that kind of activity, recognizing benefits. And it came, it's a process, it's just communication. Okay, let's measure, let's see, let's notify what's going on here, and it's going to come for sure.
Now, what about professionals within the educational community, the children who are in special education programs? Do you get referrals from the professionals there as well?
We do. That's really happened. And actually, we did referrals from a physiotherapist who, parents came, my physiotherapist asked me to try this. They heard that it might be good. So it's coming, it's going. Ice has been broken, and now we have to find our way to plug into the system.
So what is a typical experience, and I know this is too broad a question to be able to simply answer, but on a given class session or period of time when a child is at your facility, what kind of activities in which they would engage? Obviously, at some point, they're going to get on the back of a horse and do some riding. But what else kinds of things bring about this positive outcome, do you think?
Depends on the condition of the child. Of course, if we deal with a very young kid, it's not safe to do so many activities on the ground around the horse. And our main goal is to achieve the fastest goals we can achieve, to kind of to start building on it. And first of all, sitting above and having position to look the world around you from up there helps boosting self-esteem. And that's maybe the most vulnerable moment for any child with disability, no matter what kind of disability it is. Kids sooner or later, even with mental delay, developmental delay, they recognize something is wrong. I can't do what everybody else are doing. They all take care of me, so why should I even try? And here on horse, they become in charge. From simple things to compensate the movement and momentum of the movement forward, and then being able to influence of directions and speed, and communicating with team of people around them from above, and being cherished for each small accomplishment. That's kind of feeds their soul and mind and motivate for other rest of their life activities, to push harder with therapists, to work, to be dedicated to reach own potentials, and it's all about that.
Let's step back just for a moment and say where the Spirit Open Equestrian Program is located.
Yeah, thank you for asking that as well. We are a pretty young program. The activity started 2006 around Christmas, and then 2007 we did our paperwork, and since then we are 501c3 recognized nonprofit. We has been started at Great Falls in a backyard of wonderful person. It's one of small miracles. Spirit has a lot of those. When lady said, just come and do it for free in my backyard.
Oh, wow.
And that's how we started, with an old horse named Spirit. And later we learned that the son of that lady was in a wheelchair watching us. He wasn't candidate for therapeutic riding, but he was witnessing. And what we were doing in their backyard, it was part of his life that way. So we're still wonderful. We're still in a great relationship and friends with person, Mr. Ramsey Pavitt, who provided that for us. But her property has been sold, so we had to move, and we moved around in That's how I learned geography of Virginia.
Yeah.
And just now we are renting a farm near Frying Pan Farm Park.
Right.
And it lasts, I think, 6-7 years.
Okay. So you're right next door to Frying Pan Park, and local Reston residents will recognize that we're neighbors right next door in Herndon. The early August, the Frying Pan Park annual fair, the agricultural fair, will come up.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have had representatives that I've talked with at various community groups to make the public more aware of the service that you provide. As you indicate, you're a 501c3 and you're dependent upon contributions and help
and
from
support,
the community.
Yeah.
Instructors in your program, who are they?
All instructors in Spirit somehow grown in Spirit. They have been raised. They started as volunteers, and then by the it's a professional association of therapeutic horsemanship, but it's American and international roof organization. There is a system of training and certification for instructors and everything. So I have been mentor for each of our instructor, and one of them is now in Scotland. She is doing her master degree in psychotherapy, equine assisted psychotherapy. So we're proud of each of our instructors and their accomplishment. And somehow it's a compilation of American way and what I brought from Europe. So that all makes Spirit a little bit different. I don't want to say better, just different. And difference is wide. It's great.
Well, what about the horses? Is Spirit still there, or do you have other animals as well?
Thank you. Our oldest Spirit, the first one, who basically that's the only one horse we purchased. We saved her life at a livestock exchange facility at Marshall. I think it's closed now. And that because we needed horse now, and she was a wonderful mare. She passed in my lap, and that's a cycle of life. But now we are taken care of, and we work with wonderful animals, and most of them, some of them has been donated, most of them has been saved from kill pen. So somehow we're giving a next chance in life to horses. It's also a psychological pattern for troubled kids. Then it's never over. If you put there is a possibility for change, there are opportunities, and so it's a well-known and recognized program about how to reestablish social positive interaction with teenagers, among teenagers, using work around horses. Because teaching, if you put them in position to teach horses, they learn about themselves.
Right. Now, I know that stories told by people who've had experiences with programs like this are very strong and very convincing. Is there evidence gathered through any research or scientific studies as well?
A lot. It started with, which is the easiest to measure, its improvements in muscle tone, is body posture. That's very easy to measure. So just to make it, it's well known and repeated, but never enough fact that horse's back, while horses is walking, provides special three-dimensional movement which has been transferred to the hips of the rider and basically imitates walking pattern. And it helps nerves and muscles to learn that pattern, even for whatever reason person cannot bear weight on their legs. And then set up a good core position and everything. It's hard to measure self-esteem. It's hard to measure general well-being, but parents are our best matter about that.
Exactly.
If we have written, and we have tons of written testimonies of changes parents recognize with their kids, not only because they're on horses, when they come home, how they act toward their daily course and how they see themselves, how they set up themselves in the world.
Is it a matter of entering a class, or is it an individualized kind of thing? If a parent had a child, do they wait for a class to open, or do they set up a personalized schedule?
In Spirit, we have two ways to enter into the program. One way is through the park takes. Fairfax County Park Authority.
Fairfax County Park Authority, right?
Yes, we have a second contract with Park Authority, which has been renewed and extended to next 7 years. Just last year. So park takes online or by calling Frying Pan Farm Park, people can register and it goes first come, first serve. Right. So whoever doesn't come through that and doesn't fill up the class that way, we have opportunity to serve them directly. So those parents approach us directly. They purchase riding pass at the Frying Pan Farm Park to be able to use, because all our services has been done there at the equestrian facility, which is great blessing for the whole community here. Sure. And so we are proudly serving their community 7 days a week.
And so I think we have a website up for your program, and that would be a way to get connection with you.
Website,
email or phone.
Email, everything is there, I think.
And there is a fee associated. Are there scholarships available for people who cannot pay a fee?
We never denied our service to anybody because of financial issues. So yes, we have scholarship application, which is also available on our website, and people who apply for it, we automatically put all our effort to find sources and to squeeze them into the program with partial payments and everything. And anyhow, participants' fees are less than 30% of real cost. And that's a kind of, everything else has been covered by volunteer work, donations, discounts, vendor discounts.
We need to say a word about volunteer opportunities, because you are periodically in need of help. You have people, the folks who are there for the most part are volunteers. Who are you looking for by way of volunteers?
We have a really broad spectrum of possible job positions for volunteers, from office support, accounting support, PR work, fundraising, advocacy, farm maintenance, working during the program hours as leader or side walker. So we can find space for almost everybody who is willing to put their time and work into Spirit.
As a general notion, and we only have a moment or so left, if we talked about the children for whom this is most appropriate, how would you define that? It really is open to all children, but to children for whom it is most appropriate, particularly from the therapeutic side.
Now you shut me up. It's very hard to answer your question. It's an appropriate question, but it's hard to decide. Is it the kid with cerebral palsy who needs to improve their core strength and to give him a chance to walk in his life later? Or if it's that pre-teenage kid who is struggling with identity, with self-esteem, and has fear of the big world around him, and give him a chance to grow strong enough to deal with that.
So the answer might be that for parents who think this might have an opportunity for success would be to come to Frying Pan Park, meet and see and talk with, and potentially talk with other parents as to what their experiences have been and make the decision that way.
I think that's a good idea, and one of our goals in near future is to organize kind of education for the parents, just to avoid wasting anybody's time answering all, so that kind of workshops for parents or interesting families in that kind of activities. It doesn't have to be with Spirit. They might find something closer to their home somewhere else, but giving them more information about that, I would be happy to do it.
Donna, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much for bringing your program information to us today, and thank you for the good work you do for the kids and families of Fairfax.
Thank you, Mr. Plum. Thank you for having me here, and I do believe that Fairfax County will find a way to keep Spirit going and supporting the way it does now. Thank you.
You want to know more? Check the website. Our Partakes is the publication sent out by the Park Authority. You can find out information there as well. It's the Spirit Open Equestrian Program, Frying Pan Park, just right next door to Reston. Glad you were with us on Virginia Report. Hope you join us next time. So long.